Karda 2, The Return. Let's go to the beginning. And play. Okay, so we were watching Karda the Return, the sequel to Karda 2, Karda 2 the Return. Because it would be unlikely that Mark's cards and I could get in the studio at the same time and do a voiceover. If he wants to do another commentary himself, well, good. But we did a trans tech one, and yeah, we talked about the Karda and the other stuff. So I think we're covered as far as that's concerned. In the summer of 1994, sequel to the Karda. This is directly after the events of A Generation Scorned, and so we're going back a little bit from the finale footage, at least in 1995. So yeah, there's this one has pyrotechnic effects in it. Now, in order to pull this off after burning Optimus Prime, burn some Transformers. Don't try this at home. Yes. Don't set your Transformers on fire. That's Capri Karda. And well, he's a cheap knockoff Mustang Karda guy, and he had a battery when he was on fire. So yeah, so it's don't try this at home. It's don't burn your toys. Yeah, there were professionals on the set making sure that we did not burn the backyard to pieces and set fire to the house. So yeah, there are professionals on the set, and yeah, when we did that, yeah, there was like a big bucket of water and a hose right there, so we put it out. But yeah, yeah, still that's messed up. Could have filmed him for like a minute. It was on fire. We rebuilt the Cardabot aircraft carrier, formerly the JWS Cat, as a toy box for them. They're cardboard robots we built in the studio, and instead of just having them be cardboard laundry boxes, painted them so that they actually looked like kind of like clunky 50s style robots. We have an invid out there, and what's funny with that is the fire from the Capri Karda melted part of the invid, so we were like, well, let's have him be the deity later on. So I was like, yeah, okay. But yeah, this is quite messed up, and I've killed all the audio because all of the audio on this it has Frank Zappa music playing for some reason. So yeah, yeah. Well, this is not a plot. There's no plot. They just killed each other randomly for 2 hours, and I think this is an edited version from 2005 and 2012, so it probably has a lot of stuff taken out. And we had two different cameras, which was kind of interesting. So we were able to do like some footage with one camera and some footage with the other camera. So yeah, the video quality suddenly vastly improves all of a sudden. This junkier footage is from the older camera, which we set up and filmed the wall, and one of the older ones. We had three of them at that point. I think it was yeah, it was a JVC one, and then it was like a Panasonic digital, like early Panasonic Super 8 in another Super 8 one. Yeah, it wasn't the disc one. Yeah, it was the Super 8 one used for Trans 2. Yeah, no, it was a disc one too. It had like a digital converter thing in it. This other footage, it had an early digital processor, like a clunky. Yeah, it was a disc camera. Yeah, it had like a mini DV is what it was. Yeah. Oh, not all that video was lost. Then they made a mini DV JVC conversion camera, which we used on the other Trans 2 Season 1 was done on Mini 8s. Yeah. No, actually it wasn't. It was done on those funny little Betamax conversion tapes. So it was still Betamax conversion tapes. That's right. And also the digital video disc one, and the two of them are going back and forth. So it's not the old Back to the Future camera; it's a newer one. and now they're supposedly inside the carrier, and they're inside, and the Transformers are playing different Karda in it, just because we didn't build a bunch of them. We only built half of them, and so well, and now they're gonna push some of the bad guys off the ship as it's flying. That's what's going on. You guys aren't supposed to be in here. We're gonna kick you off the ship. Blazon and Tank Bot. Look at Scratcher there. So this is right after Generation Scorned. A couple months after. During college years. And, tell like the visuals are a little better. I think they're attacking the engine. Trying to disrupt it. Sabotage it. And there's Brainstorm, who's been hiding in there the whole time. Since the other story. I don't know if it's continuity with itself, though. It's continuity with Generation Scorn, but it's not continuity with itself, necessarily. Yeah, this is bizarre. This is like... And there's a kitty. There's a kitty in here. Kitty cat. There's a fuzzy wuzzy. And yeah, the visuals are starting to... That whole jerky motion thing just doesn't work. Because it's a plastic toy that's a little 3 inches tall. It doesn't work. It just looks like they're having a seizure in space. I'm going to go back to the shitty burning footage. Look at the camera. The mini Panasonic melting scene. We're being artsy right here. Artsy cinematic. Yeah. I think what I did is I partly filmed the TV screen right there. Like doing. And then it's suddenly in, yeah. Aspect ratio changes when they do that. Yeah, so that's the mini DV is actually the shitty stuff with a digital processor. As you can see, it's worse. That was Blazod getting set on fire, and now he's burning. And as you can see, there is a lot of stuff around there, but there's like a water, a ring of water around. Sure, they set fire to the backyard. And the other deck wasn't built yet, so a lot of the stuff was buried under the deck. Yeah. And the deck was built by 95, so it was buried in there. Yeah. Oh. Then when we took up that other deck, found it under there. The remains of Transformers from the Apache. Giant block of melted plastic under the ground. But yeah, that's supposed to be Blazon, but that's clearly a scattershot. So we'll just say it is scattershot, and he's gone in there to stop them. I'm assuming. So he throws one of them at him. They're throwing stuff at him, which is funny. And then Blazod. Power Master Prime armors as engines. Yeah, because we melted the other Power Master Prime, the Apache. The story is remarkably messed up. And what's weird is not very many people have melted their Transformers on YouTube. There's only a few videos back in the day. As I mentioned in an earlier video, only Dove-tastic did one of the cheap ass Target Bumblebee movie edition Bumblebee like kind of knockoff that he got a hold of from a fan, and that's how I got it. Yeah, I'll burn that. Yeah, and then he did, and he melted him. Yep, friend Karda sent him a Bumblebee. I want you to melt this in the microwave. But yeah, And he did. Oh, yes. Then I was playing around with the other camera's filter thing, which could go in black and white. I thought it would be stylish. This is the most stylish, artsy thing. Star Crackers was a year earlier, so year and a half, 2 years earlier, when the first hour of Star Crackers was done, and then we forgot about it for like a dozen years or so, and with Star Crackers, and then finished it like 13 years later. But like the yeah, so we've got Six Shot and so I screwed up. I dropped him, and then I said I'm doing push-ups, which was funny. Yeah, it's the beginning of the Trans series right here. Megatron, G2 Megatron, there has decided that he's the evil battleship in that version. But yeah, G2 Megatron has decided that he's going to stop the Karda at all costs. Yeah, typical like evil Transformer thing to do, and he's going to send him on his mission to stop them at all costs. And so the Transformers are directly connected to the Karda. The Karda were the cardboard robots originally. And the fact that Karda with a K is a coincidentally some sort of Indian province is funny because it wasn't originally. Oh, we just didn't know. Calcat is also an Indian name. Calcat, just one word. But we were thinking California Cat, which was an amalgamation from Cal Skate. Cal Skate was the Cal Skate, yeah. That's where Calcat comes from. Cal Skate was a skate ring we had until the 2000s, and I only went there a few times. And I was a teenager in the 80s, early in 90s. I went there too. But yeah, Cal Skate. Calcat is not directly named after Cal Skate, but that's where it comes from. California Cat with K's. He was a hacker computer handle. Well, we weren't hackers though. We just thought we were. On the Apple IIG, Apple IIe. Yeah, this is probably done on a. This was probably produced and rendered from the video DV print, and also the Super 8 print, and also the 20-minute little beta video max tapes that did Trans Tech later on, only later on in 2001. When Trans Tech 2 and 3 were done on exclusively the Super 8 beta video, digital video. Those two were. So they weren't convertible again, unfortunately. That technology died, and yeah, so the version you get of Trans Tech 3, 2 and 3 is the only version, is the digital transfer to the early computer, the early Sony Vaio computer, PC. That's it. As for Trans Tech, we were able to remaster Trans Tech from those old clunky Betamax videos, and we were able to remaster it as a for Blu-ray, and put it up on YouTube. We put all three of the Trans Tech stories and converted them to, I think, Flash Video is what they were. After that in 2012, and then 2014 on the other channel, and there were 24 episodes of Trans Tech, and it was what all of this was building from. All these stories we were doing all these years back in the 80s and 90s. We're building up. Let's do Trans Tech. Let's do a full season, 24 episodes of Transformers. Let's finish the 4th season of Transformers. That was our idea, and we did it. We did it. We call it G1 like homage, and of course the Beast Wars had been introduced, so we had to put them in it too because it was like 2002. The Beast Wars were introduced and gone, so there was another glut of the Transformers robot craze for 2 years in there, 99 to 2000, 2001 roughly, not as long. And then the Japanese decided, hey, we're gonna do a car robot. We're gonna combine Beast Wars and car robots again because car robots are cooler. So they had this weird Dragon Megatron and car robot thing, which became robots in disguise, and they started again. And that was sort of a placeholder for Armada, the Unicron trilogy. 2002, 2003. Armada started during the production of Transtech. So, yeah, I believe two. Armada started end of one or beginning of two. No, it was one. I guess it was part one. Yeah, during part one. 2001, 2002. So, yeah, it didn't take long, and they were all back. Yeah, and they never went away, really. And some of the Armada characters were cheap, too. And what's going on here in the scene is the deity stuff. This is the whole Destiny character deity stuff in the story. And this is a commentary track. Filmed in black and white in the backyard. The black and white filter on the is a little mini DV camera worked better in the black and white with a light on it, which was really hot. And they're basically encountering some of the other Transformers from the battle. And they're going to go meet up with essentially a sort of a Primus for the Decepticons guy, the deity. Sort of a reinvention of the darkness from the other story. A little more realistic because, more church-related activities had happened. And I said, like, okay, what would this guy actually be if he was sort of semi-biblical or something? So he's sort of, a false prophet guy, basically. A lot like those classic Trek episodes where Kirk discovers a planet that's worshipping a computer or a god or something, and stops it because he's Kirk. Setting. So in this story, they do the Star Trek V thing, which was originally the God Planet, which Shatner just cribbed the script and did his own version. The Enterprise pokes a hole in the edge of the universe, and staring back at them is the face of God. It's not big enough. So once you do that, you're breaking the fourth wall. So this movie just goes there and breaks the fourth wall immediately. It has them go and visit this deity guy who is like making them rail on each other because he can. They're beating each other senseless. Which is funny. It's like, if they had a deity, if they had like a demigod that was messing with them, like kind of like Greco-Roman gods did, he would be jacking them up and taking over their minds and messing with them and damaging them and stuff. And of course, he retcons the whole notion that they were in the original Karda story. It was supposed to be billions of years later because I didn't want to have any G.I. Joes or humans in it. I didn't own any at that point, G.I. Joes. So I was like, it's billions of years later, and somehow they survived, and the metal is intact and everything. I know I wasn't making fun of the 70s book Battlefield Earth. It's just we were thinking the same thing, and yeah, his idea wasn't any better. The fuel in the jets that still worked. And then they made Battlefield Earth in 2000, the real one, and they had it take place in 3000 instead of 2000. The original book was set in the 1970s, and it took place like 30 years later or something, in 2000. Whereas in the movie version, they made it 1,000 years later, in 3000. And it was like, no, now the jets really wouldn't be around anymore. They'd be completely gone. So I don't know how they would save something for 1,000 years. Only 30 years, that's conceivable. The jets could still be around. And of course, it's the demigod deity's purpose to teach the heroes or the villains how to defeat him. They always do that in sci-fi. It's funny. Yeah. Teaching them how to defeat him. Why they would do that?
Adam, did you hear the bell?
Nope.
Well, the front door, come on.
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
It was their bell.
No, it wasn't. Audio from Karda 2, The Return. Going back to roughly over there, I guess. going back to about 1948 and playing from here. 1948. I was just saying that 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 they do that the deity thing with the invid and all that. They they'll often have a story where the villain explains what the hero was doing in order to defeat the villain himself. Yeah, like in Battlefield Earth when they tell them basically, okay, I'm gonna train you in these jets and stuff, and train you and make you smart so you can. So that's not a good idea. Making them smart makes them want to defeat you, and then they do. And I was just making fun of Battlefield Earth, saying that the book version was set in the 70s, and but it was supposed to be the year 2000, and in the movie version, which came out in 2000, it's supposed to be 3000, making the technology in the jets so far back in the past that there's no way they could have actually rebuilt them. And why would they leave them around so they could do that? But yeah, that was a bad movie. But here the idea of the deity having the instructing them basically and telling them it hasn't been billions of years because that doesn't make sense. It's only like roughly 2015 now in the story. you just were buried into the toxic area and they closed you off from they quarantined you so in the toxic area, so you just didn't know that you weren't billions of years in the future. You should have realized this because you're still alive. So yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, that's kind of what's getting. So that's what he's talking about. Well, actually, that is a lot shorter version of that. I thought that scene went on way longer originally. Apparently, it doesn't. And they cut back to some of the stuff in the ship. Well, it had more of an impact in the other version. Maybe this is an edited version even here. It's a lot of the exposition, like we didn't need the exposition. So yeah, that's probably what happened. So yeah, so they're arguing about what they saw, and the battleship Megatron is having none of it. He's like, what, you idiots? I am your leader and your demigod. Not this guy that you're talking about. I will go and find the false god and slay him. Like, Captain Kirk in Star Trek or something. Yeah, he's so pretentious that he's like he's like, I don't care that there's another deity thing out there. I want to destroy him. But only I should rule everything. This being during the Clinton administration, I wonder if it's a thinly veiled riff on the George Bush administration from beforehand. Probably. Yes. But yeah, probably is. Because suddenly these stories got a little more bright somehow in the Clinton years. Anyway, so yeah. Well, we're back to the planet surface and the battle. This is basically a Marx Card's version rewrite of the entire. All the other stuff that's building up to the Karda is the other stuff. This is sort of a remake of Karda. It's not really a return, it's more of a remake. And utilizing the sets correctly. Well, as correctly as we can make them, it's backyard. It's a set, it's a soundstage, it's whatever. But as correctly as we could. Without showing, like obviously the backyard stuff in the background. Trying to keep the camera steady where they're supposed to be. Bussy bot. Another Buzzy bot. Bussy, man. Yeah, I thought it would be funny if transit buses and light rail trains and stuff were Transformers. And G2 as a hand. G2 Grimlock. Yeah. Which is funny. Telling them something. Yeah, repainting them and re-releasing the same toy is Hasbro's really cheap way of getting out of doing anything new at that point in the 90s. Well, Bandai was surpassing them with Power Rangers. They should have realized and gone like, oh shit, make a bunch of new toys. I don't think the technology existed just yet to do the ball joint technology and all that was new. And then with Armada, they made some of them kind of step back a little. Some of the Armada figures were, some of them their legs didn't move, like the powered up Optimus Prime's legs didn't move. Or the Shuttle Prime guys, his legs didn't move. It's like, wow, they were still cheap even in 2002. They really didn't hit their stride until probably the Combiner Wars, like years later. What are you in? Why? Why?
Because we have to
What
practice.
is going on?
I told you to watch for that spot. Now there's a spot before it is okay. You could pull the car in.
We're not going to practice getting in and out of the car.
Yes, we are.
I am doing that video audio in there. Doing that audio in there.
Okay, well, when you're done, we'll do it.
I don't want to do that alone.
We have to.
I don't want to do that alone. God, you've interrupted. I'm gonna go back again. I don't want to do it alone.
Also, we have to talk about.
Mom, I'm not doing it alone. Please, you're ruining this.
How many private things you have to do on there?
Why?
Schedule me some help time. With notice.
I've given you notice. Come on. Go on. Bot and Bussybot discovered the deity. And he's trying to convince them, because he tried to convince the villains and it didn't work. So he's going to convince them. But Birdbot and Bussybot aren't too bright, so I don't think it's going to work to go. I guess they could convince them by making them evil or something. They can convince them because they're not very intelligent. It's messed up. Yeah. Karda Return. Still digital. It's still video, but with digital enhancement. Like the computer enhanced stories of the Transformers Generation 2. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, just re-releasing some of the other ones here, including that British giant Starscream and Penny in Black. Yeah, from Machine Wars and Beast Machine. That was later. Machine Wars, yeah, that was also later. Yeah, some of these were from there was a Beast Machines and Machine Wars, and Machine Wars was earlier. It was the other line, but they were still clunky, like the clunky British ones. The clunky ones, and also they bought out the GoBots, who were their rivals back in the '80s. So, but yeah, we do know a lot about Transformers. Probably more than we know about Robotech, actually. The Space Deity guy. Oh. How many fans have done that kind of story? A lot of them. And usually the Space Deity guy is usually the author who decides, I'm in the story. Just well, now he's telling the good guy Transformers that it's not billions of years later, it's 2015, and they need to go over the rise. Over the rise. Rise of the Beasts, that comes later, yeah. If that's kind of what they do in the new movie, that'd be interesting. Set in 1994, the new movie. Yeah, it's a sequel to Bumblebee. Set in 1994, in the jungle, like this. Yeah, if they have like a deity guy in it, and he's like called the Karda, and they have a Strawberry in it and stuff, I'll be like, yeah, they basically watched our stuff, copied it. They probably won't do that, but kind of funny. I don't even remember what the girl's name in Bumblebee was. Was it Michelle or Rachel or something? She wasn't very memorable as a character, but Bumblebee was. But it was a good movie, though, the Bumblebee movie. Yeah, so live action. Oh because each little scene added in extra was leading to the torture scene of the other main characters later. The bad guys and the good guys trapped the deity and are going to crucify him and set him on fire, which you might recognize from Trans Tech. Yes, it's in there too, as well. Was a new batch of Karda that we built for that movie, special and burnt them. But this time, also as well, we didn't actually in Trans Tech we didn't actually burn anything. We CGI'd the fire. Here, nah, we burned it. They've rebuilt Triptychon. Ew. The generation scorned. The deity will die. Yeah, this is actually trimmed quite a bit to make it less, like, because there were issues. Yeah, the idea that the main bad guy doesn't want to believe in the evil deity thing because he's an atheist former and he doesn't believe in any of that stuff. So he wants to believe that it's billions of years later, even though he darn well knows it isn't. It's weird that Scattershot is hanging out with a Decepticon. It's kind of consistent with what they did to him in Generation Scorned, actually. So it totally could work, you know. They brainwashed him. He's a captive by decree. Not to be resolved until later. He ended up making that Captive by Decree episode later to wrap it up because it got canceled. That was we had like another 20 minutes of stuff. We could have wrapped it all up. Yeah, and then I ordered up a movie after that. What was left of the budget? The Karda thing we built out of cardboard and styrofoam backing and stuff. Really would not have flown. And now, roast the deity. And the infamous "We Can Kill the Gods" song. Bum at the bottom. I think we also used actual real music on here, so we can't show you any of the music. But they start singing this insane reggae riff that we sort of cobbled together. That reggae techno like fusion riff that singing about "We Can Fuck the Gods," which I reenacted in shared hallucinations. Also, we didn't burn anybody in that either. But in this one, no, we melted the Invid. We melted the Invid and burned him. And set the carrier way over there so that he didn't catch fire, because that would have been fun. But no. So yeah, we're melting the deity. We're about to. They're all singing about melting the deity. They're just gonna kill him. If he really was a deity, he would have stopped them. Maybe he wants to be crucified like Christ and return from the beyond or something. He sort of does as the Shice of Destiny guy. Oh, yeah. Kind of, sort of, kind of. Oh no, he's on fire. Excellent. He's burning. Don't try this at home, kids. Filmed with supervision of audience. It just fell off. Like, oh. Oh. And he's melting. Oh man. Oh, I did put water on. And then they start throwing the other guys into the pit. The Karda go insane and they take each other out. Sort of a cult. There's a 1997 cult that did something like that. And back in the 70s, there was Jonestown. But in this case, no, they jump onto the pit because apparently they really want to die because they don't want to know that they weren't billions of years in the future and that they weren't in charge of everything. It really bothered them. So they're like, no, we must destroy him because he's right. Oh, kill him. Oh. Hyper-conservative guy. Some family values for these robots. The Clinton administration cribbed the family values from the robots. It used to be the Democrats. And then the Republicans stole it back. And then, like, they didn't do anything with it. They just, we have family values, but we don't really. So that's the joke. The robots have values they claim they have, but they're hypocrites. They set themselves on fire. They don't want to be proven wrong, so they commit suicide. They commit seppuku because they're like, we don't want to be proven wrong, so damn it. Oh yes. Another thing with the strawberry stuff, Transtech later is originally the Y2K was the end of the world. 2000 was the end of the world. So Strawberry and then the opening scene of Transtech 2 is Strawberry, it's 2000. It's going to turn 2000. The Cobra Commander and Strawberry and them are hanging out. Nothing happens. The world isn't destroyed. And Strawberry goes, I will not be confounded by the failure of history to destroy itself. These pathetic ingrates will die. Archer exaggerating a little bit. You know, it's like, so they go on with that. And it's like, yeah, then 10 years later, they're still around, and it's 2010. Yeah, and at that point, there was no 2012 thing yet. But there kind of was. Yeah, there kind of was a 2012 thing. Because they kept moving the date of the end of the world up and up and up. And now that it's 2022, nobody's saying, oh, the end of the world is, such and such a date or whatever. They're not saying that anymore so much. Because since then, we lived through the pandemic. It's like, the end of the world stuff is bullshit. So this is progressive in a sense, this story. It shows the incompetence of blind childlike faith. The incompetence of them believing or hypocritical faith. They believe that they're right. They're wrong. They've burned their deity, and it's like, well, they probably shouldn't have done that because maybe he was right, in a way, even though he was. They think so, and now they're screwed. So their world is ending because they didn't listen to the people that actually knew what they were talking about. They wanted to destroy the experts and get rid of them, which is very biblical. Yes. But he's not a Christ figure, though. He's an antichrist figure. He's not a good guy. He's an evil deity. He's a false god. He was a false god, but he was right about that it wasn't billions of years later. That it was only 2015. He was right about that. It's kind of like the Postman movie, the book. The guy pretending to be a postman sacrifices himself to save the town in Washington. It's kind of like that too. Yeah, and it's Star Trek, very Star Trek idea. It's going on. Well, yeah, the bad guys deciding we're going to take ourselves out rather than admit defeat. It's kind of like what later conservative cult groups in the 2020s will end up doing to themselves because they will be proven wrong about their election. They will eventually take themselves out as well. Because that's all they have to do. You don't hear about the bad guy terrorists anymore. You hear about the domestic ones. But yeah, that's the Transformers. It is Transformers, of course. And you had to put water on the pit so that we didn't burn down the backyard. Yeah, there were adults there. and some of the other Transformers are out, and the ones that burned up, and then they go to the then they just go on a killing spree and they just take each other out. They've hung up crosshairs and they're gonna use Pincer's pincer or Shatter basically to early Shatter, which kickback, drop kick to kill Tim, cutting off the arm. And then we have gore effects in here. Actually, that other crosshair is Jim Buffkin's crosshairs. But yeah, no. You just held him up there for a while, like garden implements. Don't do this either. Yeah. His arm came off. Oh. So it's running around. He's freaking out. Why did we kill the deity? Now our lives are miserable. Oh. Cyclonus is all, oh, you fool. What did you think was going to happen? Because the other Transformers showed up. I was like, what? What are you talking about? It's only 2015. And Megatron showed up. And he's like, no, it's 2015. Stupid. Scourge showed up, too. It's before Generation Scorn or after it? I think it's right after it. Yeah. Because the characters are kind of lying down where they were. They're, what the hell? Ew. It's supposed to even be him killing him, but it looked like he was fucking him. So she's like, "Oh yeah, bat." It's like, oh well. Ew. He's fucking him. Ooh, and Sunstreaker's going all postal on what's it, Onslaught. Ew. Jetfire's dead. This almost could be during the other story. Generation Scorn, because it was time travel. One of the other timelines in a Generation Scorn. This is that. Yeah. Flaming chunk. Oh. Oh no. They're burning. Scourge. No. I guess the ship exploded and it fell on. It's the idea. Oh no, Cyclonus is going to die. No. Crucible of death. What? To start the crucible again. It's so stupid. This is a spiritual sequel to Prime Must Die. Yeah. You can burn everybody. Melt them. Oh. Oh no. This is so fucked up. Ah. Oh. And I pushed the battleship into the fire. You can see my head. He's on fire. That particular toy is not playable anymore. Don't try this at home. like excited about it. He's like, fire is wonderful, and then he falls. Of course, with the newer stuff, we couldn't actually burn half the toys in the flare. Yeah, we couldn't do that. Oh no, Sleeves a reaching battleship there. There's a cyclonus lying in there. Or should get set fire to one of your cyclonuses. That's sort of their omnipresent leaders telling them, now we will go over the rise as our leaders intended. Then destroy the Autobots. Even though they're burning their own guys. They what? Why would they do that? No, he's teetering on the side of the thing. He's gonna fall in. And then he does because he sucks. He's gonna fall in. He's so excited at the thought of half of him melting in the background. And I'm gonna jump into the fire, and I'll be saved. It'll be like Daniel in the lion's den stuff. No, guess not. So yeah, it was this big. Yeah, they just later they put a deck over that. Later found the pieces. Found the pieces around 2017. Chunks of melted transformer. There are other ones as well. There was allegedly a time capsule in the other deck, the deck of death, which was at the other deck actually. The time capsule degraded to the point of, except for the only thing that survived was the baseball and some of the tennis ball. The baseballs and tennis balls survived, and there was a transformer. Doom ripped his fucking top hat off. Damn, threw him on the burner. He just totally fucking killed him just now. That was awesome. Keep in mind, there is a pit there. Yeah, there's a pit. So it's not like they're just standing in an open field. It's in the backyard. There's a fence. There's people there. It's all on a soundstage, outside soundstage, and there's a fire line and everything. So no, they aren't gonna set fire to the backyard. And no, this did not lead to the later fort fire of 2009. Not at all. Dan did not watch this. Nobody watched this. Nobody was inspired. That was something else. Now that was somebody smoking cigarettes in the fort. Oh, the car backing over on one of them. Oh. Oh, that's creative. I redid the scene with a big wheel, but with a car, an actual car on the set, on the soundstage, in the driveway. So there's no possibility of anybody getting hurt. All simulated. Well, it was a real car running over a real guy, but yeah, there was no. It wasn't in the street. It was in the driveway. There's actually stunts in this, which is kind of interesting. And then we're back on the ship, I guess. Instructing Doom to go out and kill the rest of them, I guess. So Doom returns here. Galvatron just got shafted. I'll explain why. What was it? Generation Scorned. He comes back. Rejuvenate. Oh yeah, this takes place before it then. And chronologically wise, it would have to take place before it. Cut that guy's head off. Yeah. So yeah, Karda, this guy getting his head cut off, and Galvatron getting wounded mortally, and then rejuvenated. This is before Generation Scorned, chronologically, because they killed the Jetfire right there. They cut his head off. It would be better without a head. Yeah. So yeah. Although parts of it aren't though, because the three cities were lying there from the end of the other story. Yeah, some of it is the same, but some of it isn't. Like it's a time warp that's going on. Yeah, because in Generation Scorn there were flashbacks, so maybe the Jetfire and the Galvatron were flashbacks. Okay. They're flashback to this. A slightly different multiverse or something. Some things happened that were similar, something happened that were different. But yeah, Jennifer's head got cut off. That guy ends up there too. Yeah, it's connected directly to a Generation Scorned. They're sort of like different versions of the same events in a Generation Scorned. Especially this end part. It's interesting. Yeah, including this guy ending up near the dog turd. Maybe the other one was filmed days after the Karda thing. I think it might have been. Oh, they threw a bunch of them on the fire too. So this is probably after Generation Scorned, even though yeah, some of it's weird dreams and flashbacks and other Jetfires having their heads cut off. But yeah, it's clearly some elements are seen earlier and some seen later because it's time travel. Another universe where similar events happen. It's got to be what it is. Similar events are happening. Yeah. Weird aspect ratio. Yeah. More of that funky camera. It wasn't really good. Sort of a fake 6x9 thing. The deity would die. The god of I did not actually set the mothership on fire. We built a smaller model of the mothership and dropped the smaller model into the hibachi. The large one was just thrown off the roof or off the deck, the stairs. No, we did not set fire to that giant like toy box thing. No, it didn't burn that. It's a model. And everybody's dead at the end of the story. Oh, still fighting quick switch. Uh-oh. No. Impaling him. Huh. It's got to be like a half an hour bloopers again. This thing is to be almost over. This whole thing is just like torturous death, mangling Transformers. Yeah. Bussy Bot made it to the end almost. Yeah. Oh, now he's dead. Now dismembered. There's an evening shot, so we can see the comet of the ship going. There he goes. Oh. Stay for night, actually. It's evening. Anyway, so oh. So the last remaining ones that got into the ship and flew off, they got shot down. Yeah, crash. The leader guy, high tech is on fire. Top of his head is gone. It's blazing. The fire guy was right down there to put it out. Yeah. I'm still in the backyard on the side. That's not his head. That's his. Just I don't know what's going on. What? Oh, you gonna do another rip the legs off thing? At the end, 20 minutes of bloopers. The Karda, the Return. To be recreated in Vault Transformers Mush, the shared hallucinations. There made a whole lot more sense, actually. To boil it down to just the story of what was going on, based on the storybook versions from the archive. Archive that is now gone, incidentally. Look for Old Transformers Much 98 to 2001. You will not find it. You'll find other people's versions of it. Adam McConn's stuff is very rare. A lot of that was pulled. Or other Transcarta stuff was pulled. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to find, like, that stuff. Yeah. Doom. So we brought back the bad guy, the Doom guy. Trash everybody. The Evil Darkness. It's a sequel to Till All Are One. And it kind of lines up with the final adventure. Yeah, so it's kind of its own thing. No, in the old Transformers Mush video stories, we moved the Cybertron to a language point. Or a Lagrange point. It's, oh. Here, I didn't do that. I thought the base already crashed on the planet. Is it crashing again? Huh. No. They just thought it looked cool, so you want to do it twice. Oh, so the implication is that Doom also died. That was Karda. The Return. 1994. Libby Sprains Comics. Deleted scenes. So only 36 minutes out of an hour long, little over an hour long story. And then we're going to see 21 minutes of what they cut out. And I'm assuming mainly screw ups involving the credits. There's Libby's Brain comic. DI play. How? Calicat and Mark's cards. Not to be confused with the guy that's ripping Mark's cards off. That's online. That's not him. It's not the same guy. The Return. And the nephew from the first one, David, having disappeared off the planet, and then only Calicat could find him. About 10 years ago. It didn't take too long for him to find him either. He used his old hacker handle to find him. So that he knew that it was me. Because, it's Frederick the Racker on this channel. It was his old handle, and he's like, oh, it's Adam. Only he would remember that. Yeah, sorry. So, Karda the Saga. Yeah. In the 21st century. The logo from Star Trek 2. In the 23rd century. Yeah, but I recreated it. It's a recreation. Yeah, the 2 billion years later didn't make any sense. It didn't make any bloody sense at all. I don't know what I was smoking. But they have made Transformer stories where the Transformers are millions of years later and the Decepticons won or the Autobots won or something. Not as interesting. Or the Earth humans were destroyed. Many fans have done that. We weren't the only ones. We didn't invent that. The idea of a distant story where all of humanity is wiped out is a common sci-fi trope from the 70s during the Cold War. There's a lot of stuff like that. Most notably the Omega Man and stuff like that. The Postman. Humanity's all destroyed. Mad Max. Humanity's destroyed. So it's like, yeah, it's okay, sure. Yeah, so humanity was obliterated during the war. The War of Los Angeles. What the hell am I talking? The War of Los Angeles. The War of Los Angeles. The War of Los Angeles. Yeah, bloopers. Extended deity scene that just keeps going on and on and on. Said, yeah, probably don't need this one. It's more of a deleted scene. Yeah. This is one a little too long. It looked a little fake. So Tim's double dealer. The deity. Exo Squad re-released a lot of the Robotechs, including the Battle Tank. Never got the Battle. Battle Tank was still crap. The toy's awful. So yeah. End credits. End credits. Making of Karda 2. Oh. Come on. I think we may be able to show this little clip thing in the end. We'll see. Yeah, we may be able to use the audio on this one. Let me still see. 86-87 Karda series.
Here we are.
Yeah, there's no music.
Blistering hot set on July 7, 1994. Adam Brown presenting to you Karda, the making of this series. This hideous cardboard robot return movie. Now all of the robots are in place for the hideous return. And there they are, out there. There's the one that's going to be doing something very interesting in the background. And here's the guy that's going to fly down from up there and swoop down. And that's the first scene. We're gonna roll the tape to see the first scene.
Yeah, there's like a border.
See how it goes. Okay, here we go.
Shit.
Oh no. Well, we'll find him eventually.
They lost somebody.
That much is certain. Now what are we going to do about this? Where is he?
I couldn't find him. Oh, there he is. He's blending in with the tree really well.
There he is. He's spinning the camera. Get anything cool.
You're using the other camera for this one.
Nobody. Turn it to wide angle.
And their wide angle processor looked like shit. Yeah, their processor was crap. It was 1994. What the hell is wrong with the footage? There's the guy adjusting it. The set there. That's funny. Okay. He's excited.
On fire.
He's got a firecracker in him.
Burning. We got him.
You, Justin. It's burning. Making of footage. Interesting.
Hi, kitty.
It's Quark. Oh.
Hey, kitty.
Oh, Quark is
Hi.
cute. He's purring.
Cool. Now get out of the camera. Yeah. Part 2. Scene 4.
So it would appear that you filmed all the burning scenes and then added the other ones later.
Involving dreaded burning robot. And in Karda, in dialogue, he's already said what he's doing. So burn the robot. Go back to it. Please count that part. Here we go. Need firecrackers. Don't try this at home. It's melting. The time has come for the evil Karda to destroy their enemies and leave them burning.
It's a hibachi. I don't think it's plugged in. immediately put it out. Yeah, so the actual burning scenes are not that long. Cut. Crucify their deity. Using just regular matches, not a fire flick, but matches, like strike matches. That's kind of dangerous and falsy. Oh no, there's a pit. Yeah, there's a pit. Probably shouldn't have lit him on fire before putting paper in. Oh well.
God,
The god will burn. Burn the gods. The flaming of the gods. They really wanted to kill their Christ figure. So you can't get resurrected if he's burnt to death. What?
Very good water, Karda.
Peeing on it.
Power our ship. We use the water to power the ship. How convenient.
How convenient. He's peeing. What happened to that poster?
Simba. Just kidding.
Simba. Oh, I can see it.
What do you think, Tana? Should we tell our leader about the strange apparitions we saw yesterday?
Is that out of focus?
Yes.
It's John.
No.
It's college age John. It looks
I'm
like
telling
he's
you.
16.
Wow. Karda 2. Okay, stop.
Okay.
It's closer to 18. No, in 94 he'd be 20.
Ah, this no.
18.
The bad guy leader.
Catching, go.
He's glorious. He's destructive. My head is in the way.
Oh, well.
It could be one of the bad guys' heads. Whoa.
He's
Ah.
what do you think of that?
Stop.
Wait.
Ready? Yeah. Okay. Let's get your hand on the way.
Wait.
Oh well.
Hi, John. Mark's car falls into the fire. Yes. Another day on the set of Karda 2. Keep the home fires burning.
They probably thought that we were smoking, but we were putting toys. Exactly.
Indeed, I was.
Really
But now
works.
you have joined in the fun. A true field day.
The field day from hell.
Dude, smoking remains. Well, another successful filming of the fire and death on Karda. Yeah, that stuff stinks. Man, reeks. Say it again.
How many people go this far for a movie?
You just burned up the Karda. Where are you going to now? I'm good.
The gods must be flammable. Part 2.
Now this piece of unusual plastic is burning.
It's a piece of the gods, of course.
Yeah, so there
That
is
one
footage
scene
of it.
that you haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
But we reburned
That's
him. Ah! Burned his bit.
And that mass was still there. Yeah, there's like no possibility of catching.
Suppose fans of Cal Caps and my hideous shows are wondering what the backyard studio looks like. Well, here it is. Shameless advertising.
On fire.
It's on
Yes,
fire.
oh no, it's on fire, yes. Shameless advertising.
No, I don't know. It's behind the scenes.
I don't know. For the shittiest movie in the universe. Karda 2. Yay. Battery's going dead. It's like 5 minutes left. We're gonna need this part anyway. I guess we'll do the very last sequence on the last film, and that's it.
What's the very last piece?
The battle, I guess.
We don't even know.
We can show.
Showed some people getting crushed under their own stupid.
Go forward again. I'm not up too close to the driveway. Look it off. Right into the
Oh, Star Trek shirt. Screen shirt.
Same day, actually. All right. Has been done. Bloody death of a Karda by way of car.
You ran over the car now.
Now send me as I masturbate vigorously behind the door. The cop.
That was a reference to Bad Lieutenant, by the way. It's the original Bad Lieutenant, not the remake. I didn't actually do that.
Well, now I am. You're crazy. Okay, you can stop that now. We don't want to waste footage.
At least we're not filming over there, you know, I'm blind.
Got it. Okay, ready? Just a minute.
Had to do it again.
Let me take him back up there and set him on fire.
The trouble is the leg. Before I had a chance to.
Say now. We're ready.
Get ready. Okay, start filming.
I am. Okay, go. No more. Doom is burning. We had to place the pieces of Doom on the fire, and now he burns.
There's more leg go.
Bring the
Model
legs
of Doom.
and
We
bring
didn't
all the
actually
other
burn
dead too. We must burn them.
This is it for the dead. The other one has been disintegrated.
It's the erstwhile kitty.
Erstwhile kitty. Oh, he's erstwhile.
Amazing. Several dozen pyrotechnic shots. I'm rather impressed.
The moon is right behind you. And the old land.
That's so beautiful. N-U-D-E, that spells new.
The battle lines are drawn. We must attack. You die. Okay, here's what we're gonna do next, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna film, we don't have any ladies.
Yes.
We're going to film the scene in which the Karda...
What is
okay,
it
let's do
about?
the scene in which they, do that. It was after the battle, they crashed. Okay. So...
No, thank you. We don't want any.
The God thing comes up. Well, they take off again. Let's show the bad guy spy getting caught. Okay. Actually, this isn't a night shot. This is during battle still. The ship takes off again after it crushed that guy on the ground. And because it takes off again, I'm gonna see it come down again. Well, it takes off later. Let's go to the bad guy lair where they have called upon the evil doom to help them. Meanwhile, that night in the evil Karda desert. That's it. That's a wrap.